Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the channel. This is the first time you are seeing me. Please consider liking and subscribing. We are real tech for real people. This is the Samsung Q900R 8K flagship from last year. Not a lot of interest in this display in regards to YouTube, but that's okay. I am still interested in how a Samsung looks compared to the other panels that we have here, including the LG C10. Just showing you the game mode that we have here. Now, local dimming is on high. Contrast enhancer, we are actually gonna put down to off. And we can also do this again with that on high. Standard mode for color, we will warm that up to warm 1. White balance will keep. Gamma will keep as it is. The challenge I do have, I will say, for Samsung is not really indicating to me that it's in HDR. The reason why I know it's in HDR is that when I go into this game, it actually shows me the slider, which I'll show you here. If you don't have HDR, when you go into this aspect of it, it won't be here. You won't be able to adjust. This is the Forza Horizon demo that you can download for free. Let's see, not visible, barely visible. You can download this for free on Xbox. It is a great demo material for your display. So we'll run this demo together. What I like about this demo is it actually shows all the different seasons of this game, but it's a great testing. We've run this on everything that I have in the home. We're going to run it on the Samsung now. There's also new panels coming in and other news in regards to my CX, but let's see how Samsung performs in this demo. If I crash, I'm going to rewind because it's hard to film and play at the same time. This being an an Xbox One X. It's not a Series X, so the loading is obviously very slow compared to the newer consoles. Let's see how it looks.
Here's what I see.
Now, the key for me is testing a lot of OLEDs lately, as well as the 950H. Want to see how much I appreciate or miss the peak brightness of an LED, or the saturation of a QLED. Now, this is only a 55-inch panel. We're about 2 to 3 feet away from it. We're going to see, the contrast between the two. We'll do this test with a splitter. But here we go. I encourage you to go back on the channel and see how this actually looks on the other panels. Wow, looks good. It's interesting how you can tell the different, it looks a little more pixelated in the trees, but being 8K, you never know if it's going to add some aliasing in the upscaling. We'll be able to tell more here. Definitely very bright panel. You see the pop in HDR. Now on the CX, I actually like this to be a lot darker. It gives it like gives it a more realistic look, but definitely appreciate the peak brightness here. The challenge with peak brightness and contrast ratio is, does it wash it out? Again, we'll run this demo against the CX side by side. Screen uniformity on this particular panel seems to be good so far. I'll notice here if I have any jail bars. This is the first time I'm running this myself while you're watching me. It does look very sharp. Now, honestly, coming from OLED, the A9S, the LG CX C10, it's going to have a little bit of a washed out look, at least for me. But then again, playing on LEDs for a long time, going to OLEDs, they looked overly dark. Again, no jail bar, screen uniformity looks good. And you can see the hue in the back with the HDR. Which this is being filmed in HDR, so you should be able to enable it with the 3 little dots in the menu of YouTube. You should be able to see this in actual HDR. My favorite aspect of it is spring, going against the motorcycles. Now, I'm watching this along with you, and my observation right now is the trade-off of contrast ratio versus peak brightness. Which I'll honestly tell you, I'd rather have the contrast ratio or the black level. But it's a very colorful image. Now keep in mind, Samsung, whether they have local dimming on in the settings, does tend to disable them, at least on the Q90. I don't see why the Q900R would be any different. But you're definitely sacrificing contrast ratio, especially if local dimming is disabled. Now you saw in the beginning when I had it on in the menu, but if it overrides that for input lag, then, you know. I do believe Samsung wants to do that. What they should do is have a performance game mode, so you can have the lowest possible input lag, something like what Vizio does, or have quality one that you can use in terms of campaigns. Now I have a DisplayPort adapter for HDMI 2.1, so what I'll try to do is I'll try to actually run some games in 8K for you guys.
Looks like I'm the only one left.
Though it will probably be at 30 FPS. And lastly, we'll hit summer. This video will close out at about 10 minutes.
This is it, Horizon. We are kicking off the summer season with the greatest race of all time. Point yourself in the direction of Horizon and put your foot down. Fruit to the festival wins. So let's go. Don't sweat it. The Jets aren't in the race. They're just happy to be here. Oh yeah, drivers coming from everywhere. Now it's a party.
Now keep in mind, even though this is a 2019, there wasn't big jumps in quality for any of the manufacturers this year. So this is actually last year's flagship for Samsung of all their displays. And though it has a 55-inch, which doesn't make a lot of sense for 8K, keep in mind that this is an extremely high-end panel that we have here. So I try to think to myself, what if I paid, you know, $10,000 for an 2-inch version of this? How would I feel? That's the way to kind of view this. Now, to me, Samsung has that color. It has that, I call like Sega blue. It has very distinct colors. After the last few seconds, I have dynamic contrast enabled,
A new beginning for the
just to see
festival
how that
never
looks.
ends. Don't
This
go
will cut me
anywhere.
off, but we'll have a few seconds of it.
Here to stay.
All right, guys, thank you as always. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care. Oh my gosh. I like it better with dynamic contrast enabled. Take care. Ooh.